Alright, so I have a few more things that I want to do. I got the FC up on jack stands. This is going to go in. Not yet, but it will go in before I have this thing actually run very much again. Now, the turn signal lenses, those are also both out. I do have a reason right now that I will reveal very soon. But for now, we're going to be focusing down here. We're going to be removing the stock front lip that is honestly kind of beat up and trash. And you'll see what we're going to be replacing it with. Alright, now that all these crusty old screws are out, this thing should just... Alright, that's that side. Oh, almost. There we go. So, out with the old front lip. And in with the new. Of course, I'm going to have to make this thing fit, but, you know, we'll get there. Alright, it absolutely does not fit right now, but I mean... Here's the mock-up. Look at that. I mean, the fitment's not great, and I definitely won't get done with the fitment tonight. I mean, of course, the fitment's not great. It's a Series 5 lip that I'm retrofitting for a Series 4. That's gonna look pretty good when it's done, and as soon as the fitment is done, then I will move on to painting it.
So, after mocking up the fitment, I decided to take a quick break and move on to the radiator, because honestly, I didn't mind doing the front lip last.
Next thing we're doing is draining the coolant, because we're actually going to be switching out the old rubber hoses for new Racing Beat silicone ones. Look at how good that looks. Yep, that coolant definitely still looks great. So I'm glad that means that there's actually no oil getting mixed in with it. That means that my engine should be perfectly healthy.
I feel a little bit dumb because I'm pretty sure that I lost the footage of actually changing the radiator hoses, but you'll see them later in the video.
So the first thing we're going to do is remove the bottom piece of plastic trim. So we're going to stick a screwdriver in there, and we're just going to start unscrewing. Now this side is out, except if we go on this side, you can see that for some reason, there's a flathead screwdriver. Probably because the previous owner was an idiot and lost the Phillips head screw. But anyway, I don't know where my flathead screwdriver is, and if you don't either, no worries. Just grab your 3D printer filament cutters that are for some reason in the garage and just start turning. Or it turns out it's actually much easier to just use a penny. Alright, and now with that screw out, we're going to move on to this one, and the two on the other side. Perfect, and now with that out, we can just break the pieces loose. So we'll put that on the ground, and then this one will actually just drop down, and we'll just set it into there. Because now we have to get to these screws right here. So I'll remove those, and then I'll show you the last bit. All right, and with all 4 screws out, we can remove this chrome piece. And finally, the headlight assembly. Now, there is going to be a little connector back here. So all that we're gonna do is push in the little clips that are on either side of it. And it's hard to do it while filming. We're just going to, come on, I can feel it coming loose. There we go. We're just gonna pop that out. Now we don't need this anymore, but what we do need is our new headlights. There we go. So I will just pop off this piece right here, unclip this so that it lifts up. Oh, I'll set this aside because we still need that. Take this out, and now we can put our bulb in here. Because unlike these, which when these go bad, you have to replace the entire unit. You can just replace the light bulbs of these. Not that they'll go out anytime soon because they're LEDs, but still. So now we'll take our little LED, we'll just set it in there, and now that piece that we removed earlier, we can put back on. All right, so now it's like that. So we want to hook it on the back just like that. We want to push the front down. Now the other side, and there we go. This is our new LED headlight assembly. And now I'll just do the exact opposite of what I did for this. While I was putting this back together, I actually found something. That's a 10 mil. All right, now that that's in, we're gonna stand up because unlike your mom, I'm not meant to be on my knees all day. And we're just gonna go ahead and test these. Let's turn them on regularly. Ooh, high beams. Ooh, that's a lot better. All right, I call that a win.
Next, I finally replaced the worn-out 37-year-old suspension.
Now, I've already gotten the first step done, so let's do the second step and get this wheel off. All the lug nuts are off, so let's take this wheel, pull it off, and and put it under the car for some extra safety. There we go. Now we can get started on getting these brakes off, which I'm not gonna show. You can definitely hear it, but it's time to use the Ugga Dugga machine. All right, we got a wrench on there. Let's try this. There we go. What about the bottom one? Right, now I just gotta get that out of there. Just took a little bit of violent shaking. Now I guess I gotta just loosen it from up there. Now since this is a GXL trim, it does actually have electronic adjustable suspension, but parts for this are not sold anymore, and the ones that are insanely expensive. It is not worth keeping this, so I just pop this off, and we're gonna be removing it. I've got all the nuts that are holding it on off of there, but it still won't come down even though it's not attached. So you know what that means. I took the motor off, so now we're gonna try this again. There we go. This thing was in almost new condition when I started doing this. Okay, so now we come down here. There we go. Now I'm gonna show you what to do from this point on with this. So I've taken these spring compressors and I've put them on just enough that they are tight. I can still tighten them by hand if I needed to, but they are holding it snug because you want this to be held. As soon as this is tightened, this is basically a live grenade. You do not mess with this. So here's the socket that fits on the end of it. It doesn't fit perfectly, but it works good enough. We're gonna go ahead, put that on the Ugga Dugga machine. We're gonna hook it up to the air. Now I have it set to tighten, and we're going to want to compress these as much as they will go. All right, now this next part, this is the part that I was saying is basically a live grenade. When you do this, you're gonna get your impact lined up and you're going to stand off to the side of it. Do not stand in front of it. And there we go. Now I'm just gonna swap over all the pieces. And here it is. You can see the old, crusty, worn out spring and shock versus the brand new KYB Excel G shocks and Racing Beat lowering springs. Now these springs are not only a little bit shorter, so it'll make the car sit a little lower, but they also have a much stiffer spring rate. So it'll have a lot less body rolling corners, it'll handle a lot better, and it's just overall going to be a lot sportier. All right, now we're moving on to the rears. I decided to wait a day because it was 2 a.m. when I was doing the front ones, but here it is. And I've already gotten this disconnected. It's a lot easier, actually. It's just one single 17 mil nut. So now we just got to get these off because for some reason it's under the speakers, which is kind of cool, but also a little bit annoying. So we'll just, this is a flathead. There we go. We can just remove this plastic screw carefully. There we go. It was just 4 screws holding that in, so we'll set that right there, and now we just have to remove a bunch of these. I did most of that off camera, because aside from just taking that off and removing some of the insulation, it was pretty much the same process as the front. Now that the nuts holding it in are out, you know what that means. By the way, fun fact that is super annoying, these stock struts are held in with adhesive. But after an absurd amount of bashing, as soon as you get them to go, then they go.
Now at this point, I did get a little bit too excited and decided to go for a test drive, which resulted in, well...
Alright, well, let's see what happened. Please don't be damaged. I hear coolant draining, but I don't see anything. What happened? Oh, so my coolant shot out of there, didn't it?
This was a simple dumb mistake, but it was one that was very easy to make. And luckily I got home and turned the car off before it even had a chance to get anywhere close to overheating. So I just added more coolant, bled the system, and did a little more work. And finally, a bit after taking care of the last couple of problems, I put the mirrors on like you saw in the previous video. And now, the car is done. For now, at least.
Finally, after all that work, the car is in nearly perfect condition, at least in my opinion. The only things I can really think of that would make it better is replacing the clutch and flywheel, which I've already ordered, and going for a standalone ECU, but it'll be a while before I do that. Now, I do have to still finish up the rear suspension, but it actually drives really well. I had a huge problem before where whenever I would go over a bump, the rear would try to pull to the right. And now with the new suspension, that's not an issue anymore. I've also gone ahead and installed an AFR gauge so that I could make sure that the engine is running properly, and I repainted the black plastic trim around the headlights just to make them look a little bit better.